Okay guys, I thought it'd be quite a good idea to take an untouched preset and maybe just program it a bit, get it kind of more workable than it actually is. This is a factory preset. It's a very innocent, nondescript kind of sound, kind of a clean sound. It's bank 7, number 4, and it's called Bright Clean. So if you want to get it on your one, it's kind of a compressed, innocent, kind of sounding clean, kind of usable, but let's see what we can do with it. First of all, I'd arrive there and just see what the control pedal is doing. Right, it's channel switching to another slightly different clean sound. So what can we do to improve it? All right, well, let's first of all, let's make it slightly more organic sounding, slightly maybe with a bit of guts to it, but still kind of clean. So what I would do, there's 2 ways I can do this. I can go into manual mode, but first of all, I won't. I'll keep it as sort of the preset mode. I'll press this and see what we've got there. It says preamp, so we're on a preamp setting, and it's kind of a bright, clean preamp. So let's go along. I'm using the parameter to go along. It says gain is on 50, bass is on 50, middle on 50, treble 50, presence 0, level 50. And there's a master gain sort of switch, and it's on the middle gains setting. If I just click, there's the low gain setting, it goes to middle, and it goes to high. Basically, it's almost like preamping your preamp. So whether you want just a little bit of gain, a middle amount of gain, or full-on gain. So we'll leave it in the middle because I kind of want just a sort of an organic sounding amp. Let's go back to the gain stage. All right, it's at 50. So if I just see what happens if I start cranking it a bit. All right, that's kind of, let's go a bit more extreme. Let's go full up. I'm going up to 88 there, just to see at what point it starts breaking up. Just by playing it, I can tell it's compressing a little, and when I look, I see effects 1 is on, which means this effects kind of parameter, all these effects, one of these effects is being used, and I know it's going to be a compressor. If I press this effects 1, it comes up, advanced compressor on. So just to illustrate what that's doing, if I kick it off, if I press it, it'll go off. It's off now. And it's kind of lost, it's got more attack now, it's kind of lost that compression it had. I'm going to press it back on. Well, that's very subtle. Let's kick it out, take it off. So that's gone, right? We're going to go back to our amp that we were programming, and I'm going to maybe kick in this compressor here. So if I turn that on, let's see what that does. You can hear it. If I get into the parameter here, if I go along this parameter wheel, the compressor is now on, sustain is on 50. Usually when you kick this in, these are the presets: sustain 50, attack 50, tone 0, level 50. Well, let's kick the level up. So I'm now imagining that I've got a compressor in front of my overdrive, and as I turn the level up, it's going to maybe push more into the overdrive. So if I just crank it up a bit, it might get a bit noisier, but I'm up to 75 there. See what that does to the sound. It's getting much dirtier now. That's kind of, I'm after that kind of thing where as you turn the volume down on the guitar, it cleans up. And then as I crank it up on the guitar, and what's enabling me to do that is the combination of the compressor and this kind of gain stage of this amp I'm using. So that's what I want to kind of illustrate. The compressor is a valuable tool. And just to illustrate the point even more, if I go back to this effects 1 parameter, just here, which is the other compressor, if I kick that in as well, that'll kind of compress it even more and give more gain stage to the clean amp we had, the clean sort of overdriven amp. So if I kick that in, I mean, it's overdoing the point with the compression, but you can see that working with a compressor and a kind of a on-the-edge amp is a really good way of doing things. That's how I kind of run real amps live. I use an old Boss compressor, and I have my amps kind of set, not full-on gain, but kind of I can kick the front of it in with I kick more into the front of the amp with a compressor and an overdrive pedal, and you get more kind of leeway with your amp, which is exactly how I'm thinking with this. So I've got this preset, this compressor in. We've got a kind of an on-the-edge gain stage there. What else can I do to enhance this? I'm kind of happy with that. Maybe it needs what does it need? Just a bit of low-end kind of Marshall 4x12 cab feel to it. So if I get into the EQ, I'm going to go to the EQ now. EQ is in, low cut is flat. So if I go along the parameters, there's the low EQ, it's set 0. There's the low mid, that's set 0. So I'm just going to go to the low end, which is the low EQ, and just wind it up maybe just a couple of notches, just for extra bottom end. If I wind it off, you can hear what it's doing. If I take it right back, -20, it turns it into a radio, kind of tiny little, imagine a little 1x10 speaker. But if I wind it up, I love sort of big, thick guitar sounds, you know. And all I'm doing is adding a sort of bit of bottom end kind of sub end. I kind of like that. I can also get more gain, not more gain, but more overall volume by going along to the actual equalizer level. It's on 0, so it's kind of, the equalizer isn't kind of affecting the sound as much as it could if I just whack it up maybe 1 or 2 notches. Now it's, whatever I've got the equalizer set at, it's now kind of really kicking in. All the time, I'm thinking about, I want a nice organic sound that I can clean up with the guitar. These are the hardest sounds to get with the multi-effects unit. So that's kind of working. It would be a kind of a good, nice, maybe rhythm sound. I mean, that's working for me. It's a kind of a nice cool sound. So I'm going to, just for now, leave that for a second. Now I'm going to go down to the reverb section. So it's not really doing a lot at the moment. I'm going to press it and see what it's saying. Okay, it's on room. I can hear that it's not very loud. It's on 1.2 seconds of decay. But if I go along to the parameters and see the effects level, it's way, way down. So I'm going to just crank it up just so you can hear what the room is doing. So there's the room sound. And just through experience or just playing live a lot with these sort of things, I know that you mustn't have too much reverb on, but I'm just going to keep the level up for a bit. And I also know, just giving you the heads up on this, that better than a room for guitar is plate. The plate setting always sounds, look, we got whores. The plate setting always just sounds cooler to me. I'm going to get the reverb time down a bit because that is too much. I think that's too much. I'm going to crank it down to maybe half a second. Let's see what that does. Now, can you hear you've got that size behind the... It sounds kind of like it's got a size behind the note. You're not hearing it as reverb, you're hearing it as a... It's kind of working as an enhancer rather than an effect. I kind of like that. Also, just to because I'm an anorak, it says pre-delay. Pre-delay is the delay before you actually hear the effect. So at the moment it's on 0. But if I crank it up, I'm going to give it a little kind of movement to the reverb. So about 70 milliseconds, and you can hear it going. It's almost like a delay effect, but it's actually a reverb. Maybe just a bit too loud or a bit too long. Hang on, a bit too loud, a bit too long. I'm going to go along. Effect level down a bit. I've got it on 30. I kept it up just so you could hear it. But, you know, subtlety is the key to cool guitar sounds. That's kind of working for me. $19, so I've got it on 19. Also, high cut, reverb high cut. It's cut at 4 Hertz, so I'm just going to keep it flat. That means it's giving all the frequencies to the reverb. Low cut, I think it was, if I remember, at 200 Hertz, so I'm just going to give that flat as well, make that flat. Where is it? There it is. So now I've got a kind of a full spectrum reverb. That's kind of working for me. Just for fun, I would be happy with that sound, but just for fun, just in case you're not sure what the delays are doing, I'm going to fiddle with the delays just here. So if we kick in this button here, we're going to the delay. I'm going to switch it on, see what it's doing. All right, it's on a single delay of about, I don't know what it's about 400 milliseconds? Yeah, 400 milliseconds. All right, well, I'm going in stereo. I'm going to just kick it into maybe the pan mode. So now it's going left and right. Again, you have to kind of watch delays. Too much delays, and it just sort of makes too many delays can overdo it. I'm going to say they're a bit too loud, so I'm going to go along to level, crank it down. It's only on 15, but I'm going to crank it down a bit to maybe 10. And also, if you see back here, if you imagine it's a tap delay, basically. You can offset the tap. It says on 50% there. You can offset it by, if I crank it maybe to 75, it'll change the rhythm of the tap. In fact, I'll go back to the volume, so I'll turn the volume up for you, so you can really hear what it's doing. Right, I'm cranking the volume up so you can hear it. And now I'm going to really kind of change the rhythm. So let's go to 80. You can hear it's going da-da, da-da. In fact, I'm going to slow the rhythm down. So I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to give a bigger delay, maybe up to maybe 550. Let's go up to 550 milliseconds, this is. 550, there we go. Okay, now it should be slower. And you can hear it much. A fun thing to do with this, I've got it on 80% for the offset, but you can create a kind of a cool delay. If you take it right up to about, I don't know, 95, now you're getting 2 delays coming at you, kind of like that, and it gives a real big size behind the sound. So just for fun, I'm going to leave it at 93%. I'm going to take the volume down to sensible levels. The feedback, by the way, is how many delays you want. You probably know this, but just in case you don't, I'm kind of happy with that. I'm going to take the effects level down to sensible volume. So let's go back down to about 10 and see what that's doing. That's kind of nice. It's still stereo because those delays are coming at you. It's the subtlety of programming that makes the best kind of guitar sound. So let's imagine I've got a song at this tempo. So that's a kind of a I can instantly program the tempo of the delay by tapping this tap button. So if I go, I'm tapping it in time. Let's see what it's changed the time to. The time is now 5:17. So I wasn't far off with my kind of 5:50, but it's now changed it to the right tempo. So, that's a kind of a cool sound that I'd be happy with. So I'm going to be daring and press right, so I don't lose what I'm doing. It says right to bright clean. Yes, I'm going to write it. Now writing bright clean, okay? But I haven't finished there. I'm going to see this control pedal is switching to another channel. So I want a variation on that sound. So maybe I want more gain for the switch. Let's see what it's doing at the moment. So this is the sound we've got, and when I switch it, all right. So I'm going to turn that patch level down a bit to make it even. What we've just programmed. Turn it down. Okay. So we're way down. Now I'm going to bring this one up. So I've hit the control pedal. It's gone to the channel switch. I'm going to press the channel switch, the B channel. Okay, we've gone to the preamp setting we had, but the B channel, you can see the B. Before we were programming the A channel, this is the B channel. So it's very much a similar process to make a variation on it. The gain is only down on 15, so let's just crank that up and see what happens there. Don't forget, I've still got the compressor and the EQ in for this setting, so it's having the same effect on this channel as it did on our kind of cleaner, crunchy channel. I kind of like that. Without too much bother, that's kind of working for me. I'm going to crank up the level of it, so it's up to 75. Let's see what that does. So let's see the comparison. If I channel switch it, it's gone back to our first one. Now a bit of a more sizzle, more gain. So you see the theory. I've got kind of a variation on one theme. I'm going to press right. Let's press right. So now it's writing again. So now it's programmed that channel. Now it's written that dirtier channel to this preset. So I want to start on my clean channel. So I'm going to switch back to the clean channel, the cleaner channel, and I'm going to press right again, so that whenever I hit bank 7, number 4, I get that cleaner setting we had, and then I know that when I hit that control pedal, I've got that extra sizzle. Just as another option, if I was using that as you know, if I didn't want to get into loads of banks of presets and I wanted to use them as separate Boss pedals, I'd go into manual mode. So let's try it. Look at that preset we've just had in manual mode and see what it's now telling me. I've got the amp section working. I've got the delay on. The chorus isn't working. The control pedal is just going to be doing something. And I've got these two extra pedals I could have to work. There's the overdrive distortion. So just for fun, here's our dirtier channel. I'm going to click this distortion pedal in just to see what it's doing and see how it works. So if I click it in, well, it's kind of doing something, so let's check out what it's doing. See as I click it in, the distortion section is coming on. So overdrive, I'm on the turbo distortion. Now because I've got quite a lot of gain on that channel anyway, I'm going to see what the turbo, I'm going to turn the drive on it down, because I'm imagining I'm imagining a kind of sort of a higher gain setting on my amp, and I've got a turbo overdrive on the floor as a pedal, and I wouldn't, you know, it'll just start getting silly amounts of gain. I'm just for fun, just to keep it kind of organic and musical, I'm going to turn the drive down, but I'm going to turn maybe the actual effect level up, so I'm getting more of the amp. I'm getting more of the guitar going into the front of the amp section rather than just distortion from the pedal, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see what that does. If I switch it out, so I've got to switch it out here. So it's off again. Switch it in. It's kind of working. You can hear it's kind of a bit noisier, but it's kind of working. So I'm happy with that. I like that kind of distortion setting. Maybe just a bit of bottom end on it, just to give that chunk. Because I know that turbo overdrives, they're very mid-rangey, but with this you can boost the bottom end of it just to make it extra. So we've got a serious amount of gain there, and that's working with the dirty channel. If I switch it back to the cleaner channel and have that in, that'll give another option. So now I've got the overdrive working. I'm going to press right just to keep it in there, just to keep it going. So now I've written it, it's in. So we're still in manual mode. So don't forget, these are working as separate Boss pedals. I can turn the delay off. Let's turn the delay off. Get rid of that. See, it's like a separate Boss pedal now. The manual mode is very effective. Take that out, back to our cool rhythm sound. Now I can switch it in for extra grunt. So now I've got an option. I've got kind of three sounds. I've got my channel switch on an amp, and I've got an extra boost with a turbo overdrive. I can switch in a delay. And I've also got these kind of effects here I can use. So let's see what this is doing. I'm going to keep it on the cleaner channel we've got for the amp. If I switch this in, see what it's doing. Right, that sounds to me like it's compressing some more. So to test that, I'm going to press the Effects 1 pedal, and it says, all right, advanced compressor. Yeah, it is compressing more. Let's not have a compressor. Let's have, because we've already compressed it before. But this is a cool little feature, because just to kind of let you know what it's doing, is that let's go through the different parameters. High band, you've got a high band compressor. The best setting for this, I've found, is the Boss compressor setting. It makes it more organic. It's kind of like you've got an old type Boss compressor. But let's not compress it more. Let's do something else with it. Let's go back to what it's doing. Okay, it's on the advanced compressor. So imagine I've switched it in. That's what it's telling me to do. It's telling me it's an advanced compressor. But if I look down here and see all the different options I can have: limiter, touch wah, auto wah, tone modifier, guitar simulator, tremolo. I fancy a bit of. I don't know. I fancy a bit of tremolo. That might be quite cool. So let's go along to. So now it's listing what I've just listed: limiter, touch wah, auto wah, tone modifier, guitar simulator, tremolo. Okay, so now, there's the tremolo sound. That's a kind of cool sound. So if I've got my slide guitar here just for fun, but kind of, it's kind of cool. I'll just put that down again. Let's go into the parameters of the tremolo. Wave shape. You can change the. You can actually kind of modify the subtlety of it. Rate, slow it down. It's kind of nice. Depth, well, it's about right for me. That's it. So there's your kind of. The wave shape kind of makes it smoother sounding. So I'm going to keep that. So every time I hit. I'm going to write that. Writing. Okay. Now that's on. We're still in manual mode, and that's telling me the tremolo. The tremolo's working. So it's now that pedal has now become a little tremolo pedal. There's my delay. Kind of vibey, I like that. Okay, let's see what effects number 2 is doing. It's doing the harmonist thing. Let's make it more usable. Let's go along maybe to harmonist, pitch shift, pedal bend, octave, or rotary. Rotary's quite good. No, octave. Let's do the octave. So if I want to get to the octave pedal, I go along, pitch shift, pedal bend. The pedal bend, by the way, we're getting to. I'll show you in a different section in the DVD. Pedal bend is like the whammy pedal. It's a really cool device. You use it with an expression pedal. It's really cool. Octave on. You can hear it's adding an octave to the bottom end. Let's see what the parameters are doing. Range 1. The range, don't get too bogged down with the range, but the range means you can have the lower strings doing an octave and the higher strings not. But I'm going to keep it at range 1, which I think is all the, it's all the whole guitar, the whole frequency is having an octave put on it. Octave level is at 50. We're going to crank that up maybe to 70 or something like that. And I think there's a direct level. Yeah, we want that direct level up because we don't want to lose too much signal when we kick this in. So that's kind of cool. Now I'm going to write that. And there it is. There's their octave pedal. So I'm going to take that out, write it again. So now I've got a blank canvas. So let's see, just overview what we got in our manual mode here. We got the overdrive pedal, which we can kick in. We got our delay, which we set earlier, which is kind of nice. We haven't looked at the chorus. We've got, what was this one? I can't remember what it was. It was the tremolo thing, wasn't it? Just for fun, I'm going to give a little bit more depth to that one. I kind of like that one. Depth 50. Let's get it up a bit to much nicer. Let's write it again. Okay. And for fun, we've got an octave here. And when we switch to our dirtier channel, just here, it should sound kind of cool. So now we've got a kind of a blank canvas, a kind of a very usable few sounds. We've got these are all now acting as separate Boss pedals. We can channel switch it. We can add overdrive to it. We can add the delay to it. Just for fun, we haven't actually looked at the chorus. Let's see what that's doing. With chorus, you have to be very careful not to kind of overdo it, because it just can sound a bit nasty. So I'm just seeing what I can maybe do. Press the chorus there, it's just there. It's in mono. Well, for a start, I'm running in stereo, so. I'm going to run it in stereo. There's the stereo option. You've got stereo 1 and 2. There's slight variation in it. Don't worry too much about it. It's either you've got the dry signal and the waveform there, or you've got both kind of waveforms doing that. That's the stereo 1 or 2. But I'm going to keep it on stereo 1 because it sounds more in keeping with what I want. Rate is 40. Let's turn the depth down because I don't want too much of it. We've got a kind of a pre-delay. Again, it's like a delay before the chorus cuts in. I'm going to whack that up to give a kind of a size. It's kind of nice. It's kind of working for me. So again, I'm going to write that and just get it out of the chain and write it again. Okay. So going back to what we got, overdrive, delay, bit of chorus. And then we got our tremolo. So you can see, it's kind of, we got our octave thing happening. It's got a kind of, you can see just by one preset in the manual mode, I've got a whole kind of palette of colors I can use. Taking it out of the manual mode, you kind of lose the option to switch these in and out. You either have to program them in the preset or not. That would be a whole kind of different way of thinking. But so that's I hope that's kind of made made it clear how you can get kind of a lot out of one preset. So I think it's definitely an improvement from what we've had from Bright Clean to what it was to what it is now. So we've got I've got that chorus switched in. I'm going to take that chorus out. I'm going to go back into manual mode. Hang on, no, I'm going to take it out here. See that? That's come on. I'm going to press it again. It's flashing. Right, it's off now. I've got rid of the chorus, and now I'm going to press right. So now we've programmed our crunchy, cool sound. What should we call it? We could call it something sensible like guitar crunch, crunchy, in between, but that'd be way too sensible. Let's call it something like, I don't know, spoffle. Spoffle's a good word. Let's call it spoffle. So I'm going to press name, and you can see that what is originally there comes up as Bright Clean. Way too sensible, way too sensible. Let's get rid of with the wheel, I'm just getting rid of it. So I just got rid of the B. Moving along, we start S there. I've just moved it to an S. Go along. Where are we going? P. See, it's a cool word. You get these sensible DVDs where you get lots of guitar players being very kind of sensible. And you don't want all that. You want words like spoffle in the DVD. That's where it's at. And I'm going along. It's a nice, good job. It's a nice short word. L. You can see what I'm doing there. I'm using the parameters to go along. All right, E. Now I just want to get rid of them, so I wind it back to a gap. There we go. Wind it back to a gap. There we go. Gap. A gap. And a gap. Off, go. There you go. Spoffle. That looks splendid indeed. Let's press right. Pressing right again. And it should say spoffle. Fantastic. Very cool.